Welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're taking a closer look at pickleball.
Pickleball, huh?
Yeah. It seems like it's everywhere these days, right? You see it at parks, gyms, even popping up on your social media feeds.
I've definitely noticed that.
So in this deep dive, we're going to uncover why pickleball has become so popular, what makes it unique, and where it might be headed in the future.
Sounds intriguing.
Plus, we'll uncover some surprising facts along the way, especially about the sport's origins. You wouldn't believe how this whole thing started.
Okay, you got me curious.
All right, so picture this. 1965, three dads on vacation on Bainbridge Island, Washington. They're looking for ways to keep their families entertained.
Relatable.
Right. These dads, Joel Pritchard, Bill Bell, and Barney McCallum, they just grabbed whatever they could find. A badminton court, a wiffle ball, some wooden paddles, and just like that, pickleball was born.
Wow, talk about a DIY sport.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how something so simple took off the way it did.
The simplicity of its origins is actually reflected in the game itself.
How so?
It's pretty easy to learn, and you don't need a ton of fancy equipment to play. It's a sport that's really accessible to people of all ages and skill levels.
That's definitely part of its appeal. But I gotta say, the name pickleball is a little, well, unusual.
It definitely stands out.
Is there a story behind the name?
There are actually two competing stories, which adds to the intrigue.
Oh, lay it on me.
All right, so one story claims the game was named after the Pritchard family dog, Pickles. Apparently, Pickles had a habit of running off with the ball during their games.
Okay, I can picture that. Makes sense.
But the second story links the name to rowing. Have you ever heard the term pickleboat?
Rings a bell, but I'm not totally sure.
So in rowing, a pickleboat is a boat that's crewed by a mix of leftover oarsmen, kind of a mishmash team. And because pickleball combines elements of tennis, badminton, and ping pong, some people believe this is where the name comes from.
Huh, that's interesting. So it's like the name itself reflects the hybrid nature of the sport.
Exactly.
But whether it was the dog or the boat, the name pickleball definitely stuck.
And it's a name that's now known all over the world. I mean, this game that started in a backyard has spread to over 70 countries.
Seriously, it's one of the fastest growing sports, especially here in the US. I wonder why so many people are drawn to pickleball. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with its accessibility, like we said before.
Okay, so the ease of learning, the simple equipment, that kind of thing.
Exactly. But there's also a strategic element to pickleball that keeps people coming back for more. It's not just about hitting the ball back and forth.
So there's more to it than meets the eye.
Oh, absolutely. Take the double bounce rule, for instance.
The what?
The double bounce rule. This rule states that the ball has to bounce once on each side of the court before volleys are allowed.
I'm not familiar with that one.
It kind of forces players to think a little differently, adds a layer of strategy to the game.
I see. So it's not just about power, there's a finesse element as well.
Precisely. And then there's the kitchen, which is another unique rule in pickleball.
The kitchen.
It's this non-volley zone near the net. It's like a 7-foot area on each side of the net where you're not allowed to volley the ball.
Oh, so you can't just stand there and slam the ball back.
Nope. You got to be more strategic with your positioning and shot selection. The kitchen rule really emphasizes finesse and smart play.
I'm starting to see why people find it so engaging. It's like a combination of simplicity and strategy.
It's a really intriguing blend.
But it can't just be the rules that are driving this pickleball craze. What else is drawing people in?
The social aspect, for sure.
The social aspect of pickleball. Tell me more about that.
Pickleball really has this amazing ability to bring people together. You see it everywhere. Retirement communities, schools, recreational clubs. It's becoming this fantastic way for people to connect, build relationships, and just have a good time.
You know, I've definitely noticed that too. It seems like pickleball attracts people of all ages and backgrounds. You don't always see that with other sports.
It's a very inclusive sport, and that's a big part of its appeal.
So what is it about pickleball that makes it so inclusive, do you think?
Well, it's a lower impact sport compared to something like tennis or basketball, which is a big plus for people who might have joint issues.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
And it's also really adaptable. There are adaptive versions of the game for people with disabilities, making it truly a sport that anyone can enjoy.
That's fantastic. I love that it's so accessible to people of all abilities. But And this might come as a surprise to some people, pickleball isn't just a friendly, casual game.
Oh, right. It's getting quite competitive these days.
Exactly. There's a whole professional pickleball scene that's emerging, and it's pretty exciting stuff.
It really is. We've now got professional leagues like the PPA and the MLP, which are attracting some seriously talented players.
Really. So we're talking high-stakes tournaments with big prize money and media
You
coverage.
got it. It's even being broadcast on major networks. Professional pickleball is definitely on the rise.
I also read something about pickleball potentially becoming an Olympic sport.
Yeah, that's a real possibility.
Wow. That would be huge.
Definitely. The International Federation of Pickleball is actively working towards getting it included in future Olympic Games. Just imagine, pickleball on the world stage.
It would be incredible to see pickleball alongside other major sports at the Olympics. It would really solidify its status as a global phenomenon.
Absolutely.
And you know what else is interesting? The list of celebrity pickleball fans is pretty surprising.
Right. You wouldn't believe some of the big names who've gotten into the sport.
Like who?
Well, you got Bill Gates, Kim Kardashian, Stephen Colbert. Even LeBron James is a big pickleball fan.
No way. LeBron James.
Yeah, he's even invested in a professional pickleball team.
That's wild. It seems like pickleball has really captured the attention of some major players, both on and off the court. It's pretty amazing how this game that started with three dads and a wiffle ball has become this global phenomenon with pro leagues, celebrity endorsements, and maybe even Olympic aspirations. It makes you wonder, is pickleball just a fad or is it here to stay? What do you think?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
I think what we're seeing with pickleball is more than just a passing trend. It's challenging traditional notions of what a sport can be in the 21st century.
Mm.
It's breaking down barriers, building communities, and creating a space where people of all ages and abilities can come together and play.
I think you're right. It seems like pickleball is tapping into something much deeper, a real desire for connection, fun, and a sense of belonging.
It really does.
So to recap, pickleball's journey has been pretty incredible. We've got those quirky origin stories, those simple yet strategic rules that keep people engaged, that amazing sense of community it fosters, and now the rise of professional leagues and even Olympic dreams. What stands out to you the most about pickleball's story so far?
Honestly, for me, it's the accessibility and inclusivity of pickleball that really shines through.
I agree. It's creating a space where everyone feels welcome, and that's something special. But let's dive into that aspect of accessibility a bit deeper.
It's remarkable how pickleball removes so many barriers,
Mm-hmm.
that typically prevent people from participating in sports.
Okay, I'm all ears. What makes it so accessible beyond what we've already discussed?
Let's talk about the cost of building a pickleball court, for instance.
Okay.
It's significantly cheaper than building a tennis court. And a lot of communities are getting really creative. They're repurposing existing tennis or badminton courts for pickleball.
Smart.
A great way to make the sport more accessible without having to build something entirely new.
I see. So repurposing existing infrastructure is a big factor in pickleball's accessibility.
It plays a huge role. And the affordability extends to the equipment as well. You can get a beginner pickleball set for a fraction of what you'd spend on tennis or golf gear.
That's a good point. Especially in today's world, affordability is a major concern for a lot of people. So pickleball's low cost of entry is a big plus.
Absolutely. It makes it so much easier for people to try the sport without breaking the bank.
But aside from the financial aspect, what else contributes to its accessibility?
The social aspect is huge.
Okay, we've touched on that a bit, but I'd love to hear more about how the social dynamics of pickleball make it so accessible.
It's inherently a game that brings people together,
How so?
whether you're playing doubles or just cheering from the sidelines. There's this sense of camaraderie and shared experience that's really special.
I can see that. I mean, sports in general have a way of bringing people together.
Right, but there's something about pickleball that feels particularly welcoming and inclusive.
It's like a built-in social network.
Exactly. And those connections can be incredibly powerful, especially in a world where people are often feeling isolated and disconnected.
So true. So we've got affordability, the social aspect, and of course the adaptability we discussed earlier with versions of the game designed for people with disabilities. This really highlights pickleball's commitment to inclusivity.
It really does.
Yeah.
It's a sport that welcomes everyone, regardless of age, ability, or background.
It's like pickleball is challenging the traditional image of what a sport should be. It's not about exclusivity or elitism. It's about creating a space where everyone feels welcome and can participate.
It's about having fun and connecting with others through a shared love of the game.
But speaking of challenging traditions, let's shift gears for a moment and delve into that competitive side of pickleball that we touched on earlier. We mentioned the professional leagues, but what's the scene actually like?
It's getting intense.
Really?
The PPA and the MLP are drawing top talent, and the competition is fierce.
Wow, so we're talking serious athletes here, not just casual players.
Oh, absolutely. We're seeing dynamic rallies, incredible shots, and a level of athleticism that's truly impressive.
That's exciting. It sounds like the skill level of professional pickleball players is really evolving.
It is. As the prize money and sponsorships grow, the stakes get higher, which attracts even more talented athletes to the sport.
I imagine the media coverage is also playing a role in raising the profile of professional pickleball.
Absolutely. With more tournaments being broadcast on major networks and coverage in sports media, the visibility of professional pickleball is skyrocketing.
It's introducing the sport to a whole new audience.
Right. And as more people see how exciting and competitive pickleball can be, it's only going to fuel its growth even further.
Speaking of raising the profile of the sport, what about those efforts to get pickleball into the Olympics? Any updates on that front?
The International Federation of Pickleball is actively campaigning for inclusion in future Olympic Games, and they're making progress.
Imagine pickleball being played alongside other major sports on the world stage.
That would be incredible. It would be a
Yeah.
major step forward for the sport and would expose it to a global audience.
It would definitely solidify pickleball's place as a major sport.
No doubt about it. But even beyond the Olympics, I think pickleball has the potential to make a significant impact on society as a whole.
How so?
It's promoting a more active and connected lifestyle. It's bridging generational gaps. And it's creating communities around a shared passion for the game.
That's a powerful combination.
It really is. So before we get into predictions about the future, what surprised you the most as you learned about this sport?
You know what surprised me?
What's that?
The diversity of the pickleball community. You see people of all ages, backgrounds, and skill levels coming together to play. This game truly transcends differences.
That's what's so beautiful about it. Doesn't matter who you are or where you come from, everyone's welcome in the world of pickleball.
It's like this microcosm of a more inclusive and connected society.
I love that analogy. It really captures the essence of what pickleball is all about.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. We've explored pickleball's humble beginnings, its unique rules, its incredible growth, and its potential to impact culture and society. But the big question still lingers. What does the future hold for pickleball? Is it on track to become one of the defining sports of the 21st century?
I think it has all the ingredients, to become something truly special.
It's amazing to think how far pickleball has come in such a short time.
From a backyard pastime to a global phenomenon, it's a remarkable journey.
What do you think it is about pickleball that's captured people's imaginations in this way?
It speaks to a desire for simplicity and genuine connection. I think in a world that's often too complicated and isolating.
Pickleball is a breath of fresh air.
It really is. You don't need fancy equipment or years of training. Just grab a paddle and have some fun.
We talked about pickleball potentially following a similar path as skateboarding or snowboarding. Did those sports come to mind for you too?
I see the parallels for sure. Those sports started out small, but they tapped into something cultural, something that resonated with people.
And now they're both huge.
Pickleball has that same potential, I think. It's challenging the traditional definition of what a sport can be.
It's not just for elite athletes, it's for everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that inclusivity is a big part of its appeal.
So you're saying that pickleball's broad appeal could be the key to its long-term success?
It's definitely a major factor. But to really reach that defining sport level, I think a few things need to continue to happen.
Like what?
We need to see continued growth and participation, especially among younger generations.
Makes sense. Got to get the kids hooked.
If pickleball can capture the hearts and minds of young people, it has a much better chance of becoming a multi-generational sport with real staying power.
That makes a lot of sense. So continued growth is one factor. What else?
Increased media coverage. We need to see pickleball featured not just in sports publications, but in mainstream media as well.
Yeah, the more exposure, the better, right?
Exactly. The more pickleball is in the public eye, the more it will permeate our culture and become a part of our collective consciousness.
Can't forget the power of celebrity endorsements either.
Right. Having big names like LeBron James supporting pickleball brings a lot of attention and legitimacy to the sport.
So it's like a perfect storm. You've got the grassroots growth, the media coverage, the celebrity endorsements, all these things working together to propel pickleball forward.
It's an exciting time to be a part of the pickleball world.
I'm starting to think so too. But let's think even bigger for a second. Do you think pickleball has the potential to influence culture beyond just the realm of sports?
Now that's an intriguing question.
We've seen other sports like basketball and skateboarding inspire fashion trends,
Mhm.
music art, even language. Could pickleball have that kind of cultural ripple effect?
It's certainly possible. We're already seeing some pickleball-themed apparel and accessories popping up.
I've seen those.
Who knows, maybe we'll start hearing pickleball references in pop songs or seeing pickleball-inspired art installations. It's fun to imagine how this sport might shape our culture in unexpected ways.
So, to our listener, what's the one key takeaway they should keep in mind as pickleball continues to evolve?
Don't underestimate the power of pickleball. It's more than just a game. It's a social movement. It's a force for positive change. It's redefining what it means to be an athlete in the 21st century.
Just a sport for everyone.
Exactly. So pay attention to pickleball's growth, its impact on society, and its potential to shape the way we play and connect for generations to come.
Well said. If you haven't already, maybe it's time to give pickleball a shot. You might just discover your new favorite sport and become a part of this incredible movement. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the world of pickleball. Thanks for listening.